Right now, I am so worried about Afghanistan and what's happening in Afghanistan in two particular issues. Number one issue is women and children. There are many, 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 many women and children are getting killed in Afghanistan. And number two issue that it really frustrates me is US policy and US strategy in Afghanistan. You know, it was not just a few years ago. You may still remember that we were in Tora Bora in chase of Osama bin Laden. And as retrospect, what we did, what the US did and US military was to destroy many of the terrorism hubs that were created in Afghanistan and Pakistan. So what happens when Taliban is taking power in Afghanistan? Those terrorism hubs is going to be recreated. And I'm truly, truly concerned about what the Biden is doing, right? I mean, what is the strategy? Of course, we are going to learn about how Democrat is really handling all of these issues. Probably, you know, in about 25 years later or 30 years later, when many of the documents are going to reveal about confidential documents are going to be revealed about Biden's decision today. But here's my question. Why, when Democrats are in power, many of these extremist and fundamentalist governments gaining power? Why? The other issue is all of these activities is going to be blamed on Islam. I mean, right now, honestly, I'm thinking that, you know, Taliban has a very narrow, stupid interpretation of, and it's not even Islamic, it's Afghani, it's related to whatever they believe, this particular group believes. But for the next few years, many of Muslims like myself are going to defend the Islamic kindness and Islamic liberalism and many good things in the religion and in the tradition that has nothing to do with Taliban. I truly believe that many of the Muslims has been put in a defense kind of connotation. And not only Islam, about Muslim women. So what can we do about this, and who can really explain many of those issues? Today I had an interview with Aisha Chaudhry, the writer of The Color of God, and she's a scholar. As I was explaining, I just talked and interviewed and talked with Aisha Chaudhry, the author of The Color of God. There we talked about puritanical Islam. So this pure idea of pure Islam that mostly created by men and is imposed on general public, something Taliban is doing right now in Afghanistan. We talked about Muslim women and women in general in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, and what's happening there under the umbrella of puritanical Islam, and it's a very interesting conversation. Those friends and audience who are Patreon member, this is a new program we started. Patreon member can have an exclusive access to my interview with Aisha today. We are releasing it today, and to general public, to our on our website goldtune.com. We are releasing it probably next week or next 10 days. So Patreon members do have exclusive access to my interview with Aisha today. And if you are not a member, please try to support our peace journalism and our take on what's happening around the world and world issues. Please support us on patreon.com. It's a $5 membership program that we just started, and we're hoping that we can get your support on that. Otherwise, yeah, it's a interview, my interview with Aisha Chaudhry. I mean, besides all of those promotions and everything, I just want to get this message across that groups, governments, and people are doing things in the name of Islam. It is their interpretation of Islam. And our interpretation in Peace Mindedly podcast or in goldtone.com, our interpretation is to create space for peace, kindness, and compassion, and probably to just use some of these Islamic traditions to explain it better, to explain it. And we hope that we are contradicting what Taliban is putting forward. Our version of Islam is kind, peace, compassion, and humane religion and faith tradition, and we believe on that, and we believe in peace journalism. Thank you so much for watching. I see you very soon.